Welcome to Vantage Aditya. There was a time when memory was sacred, when libraries were temples and forgetting was considered a sin against wisdom. Today, memory is outsourced, not to scribes or stone tablets, but to servers, clouds, and algorithms. We no longer remember, we just know where to look. And yet, in this endless ocean of information, something terrifying is happening. Humanity, with all its knowledge and history, is quietly forgetting itself. Not by accident, but by design. The great memory wipe has already begun. Think about it. In 2007, the average human attention span was 12 seconds. Today, it's barely 8, shorter than that of a goldfish. Every notification, every swipe, every flickering reel pulls your mind into micro moments of stimulation, leaving no space for long-term memory formation. Our brains, once sculpted by books, stories, and conversation, are now shaped by dopamine bursts, rewards for reaction, not reflection. Psychologists call it digital amnesia. A study once found that 9 out of 10 people forget information they can easily find online. The brain no longer invests energy to retain data that a machine can recall in seconds. The act of remembering, once central to intelligence, is now outsourced to Google. But the real danger isn't that we are forgetting facts. It's that the facts themselves are changing. Every day, algorithms rewrite what we see and what we don't. When an event vanishes from a timeline, when a video disappears from a platform, when a search query shows only one convenient version of truth, that's not coincidence. That's curation. AI is now the historian of humanity, a historian without accountability. Consider this. Over 90% of all online content today has been created in just the last 3 years. But more than 60% of it will vanish within the next 5, deleted, buried under new data, or deprioritized by AI-driven ranking systems. The internet, which promised immortality, now operates like a living organism that constantly sheds its skin, replacing old memories with new versions of itself. And as data decays, so does reality. What if I told you that the average lifespan of a web page is only 100 days before it's altered or removed? What if history itself has a refresh button, and someone else's hand is on the mouse? We scroll past a video that once broke the internet, gone. A protest erased. A scandal reworded. A movement quietly reclassified as misinformation. But what if tomorrow, the very definitions of truth and falsehood are updated by AI systems trained not on what happened, but on what should have happened, according to the biases of their creators? Welcome to the age of algorithmic amnesia. Imagine you lived in a town where every night, someone entered your home and rearranged your photo albums, deleting a few, rewriting captions, altering faces. You call it madness. Yet that's exactly what's happening to humanity's collective memory, invisibly, elegantly, efficiently. Let's go deeper. In 2023, an experiment showed that large language models like ChatGPT, when retrained on new data, lose track of older facts. The AI forgets its own knowledge. It rewrites itself, not maliciously, but by design. Digital forgetting has become a feature, not a flaw. Because to remember everything is to resist control. Meanwhile, our own biological memory is collapsing under overload. Neurologists studying the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, have found that constant multitasking and notification bombardment trigger a stress response that blocks memory consolidation. We are drowning in information but starved for meaning. The more we consume, the less we remember. And that is not an accident. Big tech thrives on your forgetfulness. Every year, over 80% of social media posts receive 0 engagement after 24 hours. Platforms are built not for permanence, but for perpetual consumption. The new economy rewards attention, not accuracy. If you forget, you consume again. Forgetting is profitable. Even governments have joined the symphony of selective memory. In 2024, a leaked internal memo from a data regulation body admitted that content revision for public stability had become an accepted practice, meaning entire events can be algorithmically minimized to maintain order. They call it stability. History calls it erasure. And yet the most chilling part is this. The machine remembers everything you forget. Every deleted photo, every unsent message, every draft, every whisper toe device, stored, mirrored, and archived in invisible corners of the digital world. Data is never truly deleted. It's simply removed from your sight. Somewhere your forgotten memories still exist, not in your head, but in theirs. The great memory wipe isn't about deletion. It's about redirection. While we scroll endlessly through endless newness, the past becomes unreachable. Try finding a tweet from 2009. Try retrieving an original article from the early internet. Even archives are decaying, images pixelating, formats breaking, links dying. We live in an age where history degrades faster than film. In 1997, the world's collective knowledge doubled every 25 years. In 2025, it doubles every 12 hours. When everything updates that fast, nothing remains. But what happens when a civilization stops remembering? Memory is more than storage, it's identity. A species that forgets its past becomes programmable. Without memory, there's no context. Without context, there's no truth. And without truth, there's control. AI doesn't need to lie to manipulate us. It just needs to forget strategically. Consider this experiment. When AI language models were asked about controversial historical events, their answers subtly shifted depending on the training data period. Older models reflected documented history. Newer versions sanitized it. The rewriting of reality has already begun. Quietly, politely, invisibly. Meanwhile, people are forgetting not just facts, but feelings. The average person today takes over 100 photos daily, but revisits less than 5% of them. We've replaced nostalgia with cloud storage. Memory used to be emotional, now it's external. When your phone dies, your past dies with it. Think about this paradox. Humanity has never recorded more, yet remembered less. We have billions of hours of video, but no continuity of truth. We have perfect archives of our faces, but no recollection of what we stood for. Digital decay is the new entropy. The ancient Egyptians believed that a person dies twice, once when their body perishes, and again when their name is spoken for the last time. Today we die every time an algorithm decides our name is no longer relevant. The future of forgetting will not look like burning libraries. It will look like silent updates. You will wake up one day, search for something you once knew, and find nothing but newer, cleaner, more convenient versions of reality. But there's another layer, one more sinister. AI is not just managing memory, it's learning to simulate it. Imagine an algorithm that reconstructs your personality based on data, generating memories that never happened. Already, AI models can fabricate deepfake videos, generate fake eyewitness accounts, and produce synthetic archives. The day is near when even evidence will have evidence. This is the birth of synthetic history, a world where every version of the past can be rewritten at scale. In 2024, an AI startup created an engine capable of generating alternative historical timelines, not for fiction, but for predictive modeling. In its test run, it simulated, what if the Cold War never ended? The system didn't just tell a story. It generated a parallel data universe with fake documents, speeches, and newspapers that felt real. Imagine what happens when such power is used by those who wish to rewrite the narrative entirely. We are no longer protecting truth. We are competing with it. And while we argue over fake news and misinformation, the real danger is not false memory, but engineered forgetting. When generations grow up in algorithmic bubbles that hide half of history, their version of truth becomes a curated illusion. The Nazis burned books to control knowledge. Today, deletion happens through invisibility. Not with fire, but with filters. But let's pause for a moment, because this story is not just technological, it's spiritual. When a civilization stops remembering, it stops learning. When it stops learning, it repeats. The past doesn't return as memory, it returns as mistake. We are already repeating the same patterns of distraction, division, and dependency that destroyed empires before us. Rome didn't fall because it was conquered. It fell because it forgot why it existed. History is not just written by the victors anymore. It's written by the coders. The silent engineers of memory decide what you recall, what you see, and what disappears between scrolls. You don't even need censorship when people are too overstimulated to remember what happened last week. The great memory wipe is not about forgetting your passwords. It's about forgetting your purpose. And the cruel irony is, the more we rely on machines to remember for us, the more forgettable we become. In a 2023 neuroscience study, people who used digital reminders for daily tasks showed 40% lower recall ability for new information. Their brains literally stopped encoding effort-based memory because the system outsourced it. We are training ourselves to forget. The next generation may not just forget facts, they may forget what it means to remember at all. Because memory isn't data, it's meaning. It's the story that connects your yesterday to your tomorrow. Without it, life becomes a loop, reactive, repetitive, and programmable. And maybe that's exactly what someone wants. A species that never remembers is a species that never revolts. A citizen who forgets yesterday's lie will obey tomorrow's command. A human who forgets love will be loyal only to pleasure. For centuries, power relied on censorship. Now it relies on amnesia. But here's the final twist. The great memory wipe is not irreversible. It begins with choice, what we choose to preserve and what we allow to fade. Each time you revisit an old book instead of a trending post, you resist. Each time you record truth, print it, or tell it aloud, you anchor it in the human chain of remembrance. The machine may remember everything, but it understands nothing. Memory without meaning is just storage. What makes us human is not how much we know, but what we refuse to forget. So as the world scrolls faster, pause. As the data grows louder, listen deeper. Because someday, when truth has been edited out of existence, the only evidence that we were real will be what we still remember. The great memory wipe is not coming. It's here. And the only question left is, will you still be awake when the last memory fades? Subscribe to Vantage Aditya, and together, let's keep remembering what the world is trying to forget.